everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my new friend, Goddess Gloria Palma. Hi, Goddess Gloria.
Hello, good morning.
So, what's it like being a goddess?
Oh my goodness, it's a blast. I love it. I try to do it as often as I can. I consciously try to do it every waking moment, but sometimes I slip. But it is just so much fun and divine being walking in my goddess self.
That's so cool. So Goddess Gloria, you and I met because we're now Victoria Reynolds had this genius idea to do a show called The Higher View off of The View, which isn't higher energy, isn't really spiritual. And she invited both of us to be co-hosts on it. And so we had our first premiere session last Friday, and we're going to be doing every Friday. So, what's your feelings on that? I'm very excited because I think we'll be able to talk about some not taboos, but the things that are causing disruption in everyone's lives right now, in a different way.
Exactly. I think that we're here and we've been brought together to help people digest the truth because there's going to be a lot of truth coming out, a lot of truth revealed, and some of it will be too much for
Right.
most people that especially when their belief systems are held tight and it's hard for them to see outside of that. I think that will be our biggest accomplishment. But
Yes.
right?
Well, and the thing that I love is that these everyone I know is angelic that's in it, so I'm assuming you are too. And so the perspective is even if you get to reality and you have angst or you have a high contrast, you can pull yourself out. You don't have to stay in that the lower frequency version of yourself.
I like to remind my students and people really quickly. I'll just look them straight in the eye and I'll tell them, remember, none of this is real. It's all an illusion. You're creating it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's play a little bit with that. Because I call it alchemy when what you're talking about. And we have no idea how powerful we are. How did you figure out that you could play the game, because it is the game of life? How did you figure this? I know you. I guess I got to look at your website. Could you explain a little bit about your awakening to this truth that we're creating it all?
Absolutely, yes. It was a torturous process for me, my transition. I was a stockbroker for over 25 years, and I got to a point in my life where I just knew that was not the path for me. I was very unhappy in every area, in every aspect of that field. I didn't like making people wealthy that didn't deserve the money.
Oh,
And I knew my calling was in a different area, and I went home and got down on my knees and I surrendered. I knew I'd always known that I had this gift. I had suppressed it at a very young age and just knew, I kept hearing my mother's voice. Don't share your gift because you'll get put in a nut house. And so I think I was 42 years old when I surrendered, and I just I negotiated because that's the type of person I am. And I told the universe, I will surrender and give myself to this gift to be used for the collective consciousness as long as I live by the beach.
oh, that's perfect. So you got your wish. You get to live by the beach. Okay, so the gift that you're talking about, I have this conversation with people a lot, that you were aware of your gift, but you had to kind of conform.
Right.
And so all of a sudden you're aware, you still have the senses. Your intuition is real high. You're still seeing things at a different level than maybe somebody else. So that probably helped you in business when you were doing financial planning. You probably were able to direct people into more comfortable investments because you would be able to feel their risk,
You
right?
know,
Their,
yeah, when I was in that field, the gift was so suppressed. I
oh,
wasn't consciously using it. And when I look back at that time of my life, I had huge success. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I've gotten so lucky. But now that hindsight is 2020, I can see I was always guided.
yeah,
And
perfect.
right. Yeah, but I did enjoy it for a long time until I knew that I was meant for something different, something more.
So you do these amazing life shift sessions, and I'm hoping that we'll get to get a flavor of that here. But you're also a comic, a stand-up comic, which it kind of makes sense, that when you look at this reality, it is kind of funny. We are but could you talk about what your experiences with comedy, and then we'll go to the life shift sessions?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I think it was in 2010, and I had moved to the beach and I had surrendered, and nothing was turning out like I had planned. And I was desperate. And I set up a meditation and I begged spirit, I begged my ancestors, please show me what I'm supposed to do because I felt completely lost. And right when I asked, the face of a comedy coach showed up in my meditation. And in my mind, yeah, and in my mind, I thought, oh, no way, I'm not doing that. That's not for me. And I was kind of irritated from that meditation. Not 5 minutes after I came out of meditation, that comedy coach sent me a text and said, I have one more opening for tomorrow's Sunday class. If you want it, it's yours. And I felt like I had to do it. I just had to be there. And so that was in almost 14 years ago.
Wow.
And yeah, and so along the way, I accepted that path and I figured I didn't have a choice. Comedy kept showing up in my life. So the last 4 years of writing material, I decided I may as well write jokes from my work, from the life shift session. And I did it. And I love it. And it's just, I've combined both of my gifts together and I shift people while I'm on stage and it works and they laugh so hard they don't even know they're being shifted.
Well, joy is the highest frequency, so that makes sense. And you do, I know from training, you do recall and retain information if you've laughed. So,
Right,
as far as training goes, that's one of the best ways to convert the information into knowledge is through laughter. But you're using it to release stuck energy, right?
exactly.
So
Yes.
and does it permanently stay unstuck if you do it like on stage? Like somebody comes to the comedy club and they hear you and they're repeating the joke later in that's what I do. It's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I gotta remember this to tell it. Because I don't think women are good at joke telling compared to men. Do you?
I think women are better. I'm surrounded by many women comics and
Really?
it's been divine, but I do get a lot of messages. I get emails, I get phone calls, texts, letters, telling me I saw your it's only like a 10-minute set that I post every now and then. I saw your material. I think I need your book. I need your cannabis oils, and I need a session with you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so
Mhm.
so everything works together. Cool. Okay.
Mhm.
So and what did you do during COVID? Were you doing comedy on Zoom or
I was doing a lot of fun things. I was actually teaching roller skating lessons, how to dance on roller skates.
see I blade.
Oh,
I blade. I never did the skates, but I would take that class.
I could teach you how to dance on your rollerblades.
I love rollerblades because they make me taller.
Right? Yeah, they
Yeah.
do. One of my biggest accomplishments during COVID was I republished my book, Life Shift Session. This is the second edition. Um, I published the first edition in 2014 and started teaching from the book, teaching classes here locally in the beach communities and also private groups and through Zoom. And over the years, I developed more spiritual tools that works with the program. And so I included them in this book. And
Oh,
it's
cool.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. This book also has an emergency section. So if you feel inclined to go beat the crap out of somebody or maybe say something you know you'll regret, you can come to a section in the book and you color and answer a few questions and I help you come back to yourself right away.
Oh, perfect. So,
Mhm.
so I haven't gotten to get the book yet, but tell us some more about the book because this is it sounds like it's an inspiring read, so it's probably pretty fast read, but it sounds like it's also a toolkit. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Thank you. It's a book, workbook. It has exercises, assignments in there, and pages for journaling and coloring pages. But one of the things that I did that I really love is I made it in big print
Oh, uh-huh.
because I don't want to wear my reading glasses when I read. And I know a lot of us women don't want to wear our reading glasses when we read, and men also. We'd rather just read. And so the purpose of this book was just in case I died, I wanted everybody to have the secrets of awakening, of opening your third eye. And I take you through a process that I was taken through. My process, I think, of evolving into my full spiritual self took 8 to 10 years. And through this book, you can do it through the work in this book on your own time. And I also do life shift sessions one on one where I sit with you face to face. And in 90 minutes, we make those timetables shorter so that you can ascend even quicker. And so this is the life shift one. There's a 4-step process, and I'm in the process of writing those books. But even more exciting, I have to announce that I just got asked by someone very dear to me, someone a huge inspiration for women. She asked me to start a book club. And so
Oh,
I will be starting a 9-week book club. There's 9 chapters beginning and second week of March. And I'm going to do it in person and try to do it live as well. But absolutely, this book is to make you spiritually self-sufficient, and it works. Um,
wow, that's cool. So I have a question about that because it seems like everything's a waveform. So I'll get real clear and then I'll have not a bad day, but I'll have something happen that brings up an old memory, a stinking thinking is what I call it. But and then I go back down and then I go back up. So when you're talking about your third eye opening, is that are you giving us tools to go back up after we go there, or are you talking about a different way of seeing the world that we live
yes and yes.
in?
So what you're talking about is the shadow self and
Right.
the higher self. And so my higher self is Goddess Gloria. That's who I am right now. I have a lot of fun channeling Goddess Gloria. My lower self, I call Gorilla Gloria, not like a jungle gorilla, like the AK-47 gorilla. Like I shoot before I ask questions and then I find out what happened. And so I'm doing that today in all of my awareness. Before my awakening, I always had intentions of being good and giving out good, and I was in denial of my dark side. And so whenever Gorilla Gloria would come out and be evil, I always justified it. Well, if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't have acted like that. Or if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have acted like that. Today, in my full awakening, I totally accept both of my sides. I accept my higher self, Goddess Gloria, and I love in equal proportion Gorilla Gloria, because she's scary and she protects me. And so I there are times where I do have to go into Gorilla Gloria, and it happened about 2 years ago. One of my neighbors attacked my daughter and her boyfriend, and that mama bear came out, and Gorilla Gloria came out, and I was just lethal with all my words. And this man, since then, will not come near me. He doesn't even look at me. He's afraid of me. And so I think it's important to harness and embrace both our shadow side and our angel side, because both are necessary and both are in equal measure important. There's no good or bad or right or wrong in either. There just is. And so here's the magic. When I show you Goddess Gloria, it inspires you to be your higher self.
Right.
But if you're lucky enough to see Gorilla Gloria, it reminds you that you can protect yourself just as well. And so either way is a gift to me and to anyone witnessing, whether I'm in my higher self or in my lower self. Either or is just as important. And I think the goal is to accept both of our evil side and our good side, and that makes us accept ourselves as whole. And once we're all whole, we can heal.
That's perfect. So, could you tell us some stories? Because I on your website on goddessgloria.com, there's wonderful testimonials. They're like screenshots. There's thing after thing after thing. Could you give us some ideas so that if people are interested in doing work, it sounds like this would be a much more fun way. This isn't like shamanism that you have to get into. It's not painful, it's not upsetting. It sounds like it's a much more joyful path, even if you do uncover that stuff that you've been trying to protect. But could you talk a little bit about some of the changes you saw, and maybe reflect on some of the people that left testimonials? That, I mean, you don't have to use names, but it would help people to understand they're here, and by the end of the workshop or the book or the session, 90 minutes to pop somebody is pretty fast.
Yes, I feel beyond blessed to have this ability. And as I started to develop this session, the life shift session, I was still coming out of being a broker and really delving into the healing world. And I'm so proud to say that a lot of my ex coworkers that worked at the firm came to me for sessions.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and one of them in particular was so afraid, and his whole life was shaped around the fear of his dying in an airplane.
Oh.
And yeah, in that field we had a lot of travel, and so he lived kind of in a bubble. And in his session, what I do in my session, I don't do psychic readings, or I don't tell you. I show you. I help you see. I open up your psychic abilities and guide you so that you can see for yourself. And through our session, he saw that he wasn't going to die in an airplane, and it changed his life completely, just in every way imaginable. His soul became free, and he attracted the love of his life, and he moved to his dream home, and he's traveling everywhere enjoying his life. That's one of the examples. Another one of my favorite examples, and I always feel like such a proud mother when my students evolve and really take off with their gifts. But one of my very early students, when I first started practicing the life shift, was about 2011. And I had a gentleman come to me, and he was really young and an aspiring actor here in Los Angeles. And we did his life shift process, and he had to move away to another part of the country, but now he's doing movies, he's in film, he's all over Netflix and Spectrum, he's doing shows all the time. And I got to be in one of his premieres. So I got to walk the red
Oh,
carpet.
oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we did an exorcism on his house. We did it through the internet, and they ended up making a movie about it. And so,
Wow.
yeah. And so, what I teach through my book and through my work is not just to develop your psychic abilities, but to surrender everything so that you can be guided, because we're always surrounded by our ancestors, our loved ones. They're just waiting for us to command them. And so that's, I think, my biggest gift that I offer people is get out of your perception, let go of what you think is good for you, and allow your ancestors, allow all of the masters that have ever walked the face of the earth to guide you, and trust your ability to communicate and watch everything unfold with magic.
So, as people wake up, is it a lot of times they're waking up to that reality of assistant, yeah, of feeling safe because they've got the people around them? Or when you mentioned something about the third eye, I mean, sometimes when I'm doing stuff, my third eye even hurts. I can, it like throbs as I was like, something's incoming. What?
Yeah, that's for validation. And so I remember when I first started using my gifts, I would sit down with somebody, and all of the ancestors they had with them would make me break out in goosebumps. And they were really big. And it was like, oh my God, I feel your ancestors. And then it became over time very uncomfortable. And I asked my ancestors to please stop giving me goosebumps, that I no longer need that validation, that I want to be open
Oh,
completely. And so a lot of people will experience that. They'll experience headaches or pain in their third eye, or sometimes right in the back, in the pituitary gland, right? They'll feel pain, and it's because we need validation that we're actually communicating. And
wow, that's cool. So when people do, okay, so I, I, I want to know how you shift people because I think that well I would love to learn how to do that better. When I work with people, I help them get their stuff out in the world, and so a lot of times they're here and they have to be that next version of themselves to to have the courage or to have the vision or the inspiration. And a lot of people that are more awake and sensitive, they kind of wait. They wait for the memo, and it seems like now it's time to not wait. It's time to go for it.
move,
So,
go forward.
well, so, but I'm wondering if when you, so I guess I want to go back to finding out more about the shift sessions, which in 90 minutes, if you can reconnect me to my team or help me know who's on my team to call, then do the people come back for another session or go to a class to learn how to keep that connection going? Is that what happens?
So what we do in the first life shift, there are a lot of assignments and worksheets that will help you really open up that ability. But there's one assignment I will not work with you until you complete an assignment, and it's a mantra in the book, and it's a 40-day assignment. But that assignment can take anywhere from 40 days to many years, depending
Wow.
on where you're at. I've had over the last 11, 12 years, I've had maybe 3 people do it in 40 days. And those are rare. It usually takes 3 to 6 months to complete that assignment. Once you complete that assignment, then we do life shift 2. And what we do in life shift 2 is I help you harness the tools so that you no longer need me to break agreements to open up your third eye. And then I take you into the ocean. We do an ocean cleanse to release. We
Oh,
let go of your human self and we connect you to your higher self so that you operate the remainder of your life in your higher self.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if I'm in Colorado, I can't meet you at the ocean, so we'd have to do a version of that. But so, what do you think the major block is that we're so disconnected from all of the resources that we have? I mean, I know that through comedy you can probably pinpoint it because we have to be pretty funny. It's right in front of us.
It really is. I think our biggest block is our knowing. We think we know. And that was my biggest block. I was a stockbroker for 25 years, and in my firm, I was top in the nation. I was a badass. And I thought I knew everything. You couldn't tell me anything. I already knew. Today, I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't even trust myself. For in my path as a stockbroker, I also taught other stockbrokers, and everybody had to have their next year's goals turned in by the middle of December. And so for over 30 years, that was a habit that I had developed. In December, you submit your goals for next year. This year, I submit nothing at all. I surrender every aspect of my life to the universe and to all ascended masters. I thank my ancestors for guiding me in clarity. And my responsibility is to be 100% healthy, ready, mentally, spiritually, physically. So if the universe says, Gloria, you need to do this interview tomorrow, I'm ready. If they say you need to do a comedy show tomorrow, I'm ready. If they say you need to do a workshop or an academy, I'm ready. If they need me to do healing meditation on a group of 400, I'm ready.
Okay.
And yeah, and so far this year has been unbelievable. Just like, wow, I should have done this years ago.
Oh,
And so, yeah,
well,
I know I'm in my way when I think I know. If I start to plan, or if I start to think I know better than a person, I take a step back, I
perfect.
surrender, and I ask for guidance.
So do you do coaching too?
Hmm.
Ah, okay. So they can do sessions. Because I haven't gotten to do anything. I just met you, so I'm just so curious. Okay, so they can do a session one and then wait a little bit and try to implement hopefully, and then do session two, and then they can, like, a lot of people want one-on-ones because they think their story is different than everyone else's story, right?
Yeah, I think one on one is powerful, but there's nothing more powerful than working in group. And so when I developed the program Life Shift Session, I wanted to reach all demographics. And the book is only $30. A one on one session is $555 in person. I also do group. And so last in the beginning of the COVID lockdown, I developed the Life Shift Session Academy. We did 8 weeks, and I took you through Life Shift 1, Life Shift 2, 3, and 4. And Life Shift 3 and 4 are using tools, spiritual tools, and Life Shift 4 is just all magic. I teach you how to use magic. And so I put that in through an 8 week academy this year. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to start the academy in July or September. Um, So we'll be doing that. And group work is always more affordable. And what I like to tell people is um, the life shift session book club will be by donation. I also do healing meditation, which is the first chapter in this book, starting February 21st. I offer that through Zoom, and it's international. We have people from all over the world joining us, and I just do grounding, healing meditation, and that's by donation. So the work is available for free, or it's available one-on-one or in group. And all of those platforms will be available soon. I'm putting them all. I'm recreating the website to make it really easy to have access to those. Yes, I do coaching, and I do private sessions. I actually start work tomorrow. Uh, January 11th. I During COVID, I had an injury, and I ended up doing the healing meditation for a year straight. Usually, I do 6-month commitments, and so I did a whole year of nonstop work. So I took about 5 months off, and tomorrow I come back. So
Oh, wow. And that's
mhm.
a perfect day. 111.
Right.
Wow. So that's 8 too. Wait, 11123. So okay, so when you talk about, okay, how do I say this? You're commanding the universe. You're standing from a place of power and knowing that you're creating your reality, and then you're commanding your universe. You're commanding everyone to show up to your party, to bring you the right stuff. So can have you seen that other people have gotten to that awareness where they start manifesting their heart's desires really quickly?
Absolutely. Immediately, instantaneously. And then once you do your life shift, then it keeps increasing. And the more aware you become, and what happens is we manifest into this human body as a human, and we see our parents as our gods because we depend on them. And so at a very young age, we start making spiritual agreements. Um, we're here to love, and sometimes we're not born into love.
Right.
We have to make agreements that love is abandonment, that love is neglect, that love is abuse. And as adults, even though we're no longer living in those atmospheres, those agreements still hold strong. And so what we do is we go and we into spirit realm, and we break those agreements that we made as
Perfect.
toddlers, as adolescents. And it's kind of like Back to the Future, like that movie where they go into the past and they alter things, and then they come back to the reality and everything's different.
Mhm.
It works exactly the same way. It's instantaneous. And I think you've seen that in some of my testimonials. That a lot of people will say it's like miracles and magic. And that's how instantly, when you connect to source, when you know that our creator and you are one, you're instantly manifesting instantaneously. It's
That's cool. And that's what I think people right now, they forgot that they're capable of doing that, that they're creating their reality, and they're overwhelmed with the current state of affairs, which I think throughout history, if you look at all the even old philosophers like Plato and Socrates, I mean, everybody thought the world was a mess. We just get to see it more with digital, with the internet. We can see everywhere is a mess, not just not just our place. But what is your hope with this? I mean, you're going to do a book club, so that'll be almost like a coaching class,
Mhm.
because if you have a workbook in your book, people are going to be doing section by section. So,
Right.
how do you help people get um, to out of overwhelm or out of those? Um, it's not just the ideas that they, okay, I want to say emotions that they've hooked onto from their inner child, the shadow work or the inner child work, but this might be multiple lifetime. It might be what you came in with. So
right?
how do you help people with that?
I think that's a very simple answer. I remove you from the illusion that you are this human experience.
Huh?
And I've become really good at that. So in a very short time, you'll remember you're not Kathy Mason. And
Right.
you'll start to see through guidance, you'll see who you really are and why you're really here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I get that. Okay.
And we get distracted, right? I get distracted. I forget that I'm Goddess Gloria and I go to Gorilla Gloria often, and now I'm more in control.
Well, I think that what you're saying, it's so experiential, that I think that people, you know, first of all, they're in fear. If they're sensitive at all, they're feeling this global consciousness, which is chaotic and fearful, really, right
Mhm.
now. So, is there something that you could share that could help even somebody watching this now, that they could feel more centered or grounded in themselves right now?
Can I cuss on your show?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. I think the thing that will save us as a race, as a humanity, is to accept that we are all assholes. I love a person that knows that they're an asshole. To me, a scary person is a person who has no idea they're assholes. I will not spend time with people like that because you'll never know when the asshole side will come out and you know they're not going to take any responsibility for it. And so I think if we look around at how we were raised and the people around us, birds of a feather flock together. And so if you're surrounded by assholes, chances are you're one too. And the sooner that we can come to that acceptance is like, hey, okay, you know what? I can be an asshole. I think as mothers, we all can. If it comes to protecting our children, we'll come out the most evil sides of us. But
Yes.
in knowing and accepting that we're all assholes, I think it'll bring us closer together because now that I know how evil I am or what an asshole I can be, it doesn't bother me when someone's being an asshole. I know they don't know because I didn't know.
Right, right. Well, you become more of an observer rather than a participant. You observe them rather than get sucked into the drama, right? So
We,
you get less drama in your life.
well, I see them as a crystal clear mirror. So if I'm out and about and I come into contact with an asshole, it is because I'm looking in the mirror. And so I take it as a sign like, Gloria, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, and how am I behaving? What is my attitude? Where am I at? If someone disrespects me, I know it's because I'm disrespecting myself.
Right.
And so I always take those as red flags, not as something that's happening to me or something that's being done to me. As I think it's something that's being shown to me so that I can make a choice,
Perfect.
right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I love that. I love that because I really think that if your worldview is that everything's showing up in your movie, for your highest good, but it may not look like it or feel like it at first, but that eventually there's a gift in everything. That yeah, that's a different perspective versus being afraid of the earth or the afraid of everything. Okay, so I have another question for you. I hope it's not a hard one, but what do you think about boundaries? Because like I'm in business and I'm in service, and I always want my logo even has gold stars on it because I want a gold star, um, for everything I do. But then I end up overdoing it, and then I don't know. What do you think about boundaries?
I think what I think what you're calling for right now is a self-care discipline. right? It's not so much, well, and that will develop a boundary with everybody outside of you. But I think we have a lot in common. We're workaholics. We like to contribute. We want to get as much done
Yeah.
before we die, and we end up sacrificing our mental, physical, spiritual health. And so I learned that as a stockbroker. I used to end up in the hospital all the time with
Oh my.
panic attacks, anxiety attacks. And so today I don't wait to plan for balance. I don't wait to for later to take care of myself. I do it every day. I start my day, the very beginning of my day is all self-care. I usually don't give myself to the world until after 11 a.m. So
Oh, I
what I
got you early.
I'm early. So what I did for today is I went to bed 2 hours early and I woke up 2 hours early so that I could have my meditation and my grounding and my stretching, my spiritual disciplines before I give of myself. That way I can give you all of me. And so I always check myself when people ask me to do things, whether it's a show or to be of service or to volunteer or to help. I don't automatically say yes anymore. I pause and allow myself to feel it and also ask myself, if I help them, am I sacrificing a part of my life? Have I eaten well? Have I meditated? Have I done my walk today? Am I taking care of me? And if any of those answers are no, then I know it should be a no to whatever's being asked of me.
Oh,
Always, yeah, always to come back. And I can tell you what I've learned in the past, in my path as a healer. Everyone will treat me exactly the way I'm treating myself. So the more I pamper myself, the more I'm pampered. When I sacrifice myself, people sacrifice me. When I disrespect myself, people disrespect me. And I don't play that game anymore. I've taken a step back and I start every day with my self disciplines and my self care. When I'm completely full, then I go at it until I pass out. But I think that forms a natural boundary so that when you start taking care of yourself more, you'll start making better decisions and people will respect those decisions.
perfect. Perfect. That I love that. I love that. And I don't, because I don't like the stop sign or whatever, a boundary. The traditional business model is my hours are this and da 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 da. That's and talk to my assistant or whatever. And yeah, I think we're changing all of that. So, how do you help people find their gifts? What, because you discovered, so you had to crash and burn and discover yours, but
Mhm.
not everybody has to crash and burn to do a pivot to change their and find their gifts. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. It's actually chapter 8 in my book
Oh,
where,
I haven't read it.
yeah, let me see what I've read this book so many times. Chapter 8 is called Open the Channels of Abundance.
Oh, perfect.
And so what we do in that book is I have you do some meditation and then I have you take 4 lists. And these are continuous lists, your talents, your abilities, your skills, and your achievements. And write down everything that you're capable of, everything that you've achieved, even the simplest things. If you graduated from kindergarten, middle school, high school, your driver's license, and any other kinds of licenses or accomplishments that you've had, you write them all down. And as you move through life and acquire more skills, more talents, more abilities, you write those down. And what happens is you're becoming clear on what you're capable of, but you're also letting the universe know, hey, this is what I can do. And so your responsibility is to be ready, to be present, to be physically, mentally, spiritually balanced so that when they say, hey, Kathy, we need you to do this show tomorrow, you're there, you're ready. And so don't ask yourself what you can do for your career or what person will be the best to meet or what kind of marketing you can put out there, none of that matters if you're not healthy.
Right.
So if you just focus on, all right, what do I need? Am I taking care of myself? Am I at optimum health? When was the last time I saw a doctor? When was the last time I had a mammogram? When was the last time I had a prostate exam? If you don't even know those answers, start there. When was the last time you went to the dentist? Make those appointments. Making those appointments and keeping them is going to guide you in a discipline of self-care. With the foods that you eat, every time we eat, are those foods contributing to your health, or are they contaminating your health? My behavior, right? If I perceive to be offended, am I going to choose to be Gorilla Gloria, or am I going to choose to be Goddess Gloria? All of those choices create how everyone treats us, creates
Perfect.
natural boundaries.
Yes. Well, okay, so do you do affirmations, or I mean, you said I still do planning, and I still put my in fact, what I want to do for this year is way out of, I might as well ask. But but what do you find that you still are excited about um affirmations or goals or any kind of planning like that?
I developed a workshop called Goals. Set them, reach them. And I taught that class for many years, and we would come together and we would make poster boards and we would talk about our dreams and really focus about into what we want in life. And poster boards work.
Yeah.
Absolutely they work. But here's the thing, and I actually was listening to Esther Hicks, and they were talking about how when we make goals, when we visualize things that we want, what we don't understand is we're looking at those things through our limited perception. And I don't know about you, but now that I fully understand me, I know that everything that I know, that I've learned, that I believe in is insignificant. And so, and I can only see through my own tiny minuscule perspective, and there's so much in the world that I haven't seen. So how would I know what's best for me? When I choose my goals, they're going to be from that minuscule perspective. And here's what's happening in the background. My ancestors and all ascended masters are saying, wait, Gloria, we want to give you so much better. You're focusing on this goal, and I put it up on my poster board, and the universe might have this, which is 10 times better for me, but I can't see it because I'm so focused on this, and this could be handed to me.
Right.
And so if I let go of what I think is good for me, then I only allow to come in what's best for me. And I have seen it in my life this past year where I've just completely let go in my life. Like things are way better than I could ever have imagined. And they're being handed to me because I'm no longer limiting myself with the things that I think I deserve. Now I truly know that what the universe feels I deserve and what I deserve are on two completely different levels. And I'm no longer playing at that level. I'm allowing the universe to pamper me, to
So
spoil me.
so does that mean when you do, so I still have affirmations or stuff that I put up to remind me that I'm going for it. And so, but I don't really say how. So it's sort of letting the universe bring it on without having to, you know, track everything, because from my perspective, it is a slow, well, can't even imagine how the universe could bring it. Right.
Well, I would like to suggest that instead of commanding that it's slow, command it to be instantaneous.
Instantaneous. Uh-huh.
And so here's what I do, because I have a lot of talents and abilities and ideas. My healing meditation that I offer on Tuesday nights, the Life Shift book club, and also the academy,
Uh-huh.
one-on-one sessions, comedy, all of that. And so if I try to plan all of those out, and then we're also building a healing center. And so if I think of those things, it's so overwhelming. And instead, what I do in my morning discipline, in my meditation, I allow myself to visit each of those areas. I visualize holding a microphone at the Staples Center and everybody's peeing in their pants with laughter. I visualize the Staples Center full of people wanting to do a life shift session. I visualize the healing center that we're building full of happy people and transforming lives. And then throughout the day, as I'm going through whatever I'm going through, at the minute I start thinking, maybe I should do this or maybe I should plan that, I'll stop and I'll go back to my visions of me holding the microphone and allowing it. And so I can tell you this year so far, without even trying, I've already gotten booked for comedy shows. I've been asked to go on tour. I was asked to start a book club, and I'm not even trying. All I'm doing is taking care of myself.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. So, but you are asking, you are setting a visual, um, you're using your imagination to visualize the the scenario that you'd like to have come into your movie.
The end result.
The end
I'm,
result. I see.
yeah, by visualizing it, we're commanding it.
Uh-huh. Oh, perfect. Okay. And but you don't write it down or have it in writing anywhere to remind you during the day, or you just do it in the morning and
I
that's
visualize it anytime I get scared, anytime I doubt, anytime I plan on my own. I probably do it 100 times a day.
that's what
Sometimes
that's
longer.
what I wanted to really know.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I do the morning thing too, but and then I'll listen to I actually listen to frequencies and sound music as I'm doing work to try to keep the higher vibe. And but yeah, I have it. I have stuff here. I have stuff there that I just look at just to know, just to remind myself actually.
Right. I like to have conversations as well. While I'm awake and during the day when I have to come back, I'll say things like, "Thank you, Mom, for helping me focus on everything that serves my higher purpose." Or sometimes I have to say, "Thank you, Jesus, for helping me keep my mouth shut in this situation." That I do a lot. Thank you, all of my ancestors, for taking care of my children. Thank you, all ascended masters, for making this decision clear to me. So I'm not doing any of it alone. I've learned not to talk out loud when I'm out in public because people think that's strange. But when I'm at home, I'm talking to my guides all the time.
That's why I have two cats. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, I found during this lockdown that I'm definitely talking to myself more than I ever was. But at the first part of the lockdown, I had a beautiful office and I had to close it and I had to sell almost everything that was in there. And it was 3 office spaces with a conference room and everything, and the rest is still in my garage. But anyway, but I found when I was sitting here, I all of a sudden realized, did I just say that to myself? I didn't. I heard myself talk for the first time. I didn't hear it at the office. But
mm,
when I got here, I heard it and it was like, whoa. And then I learned a little bit more about self-talk because it was, I've had spiritually transformative experiences. It wasn't like I didn't know that this body is just a little bit of who I am, but I wasn't treating this being very well.
right.
Is that what you find a lot of people?
Absolutely. There's a direct correlation to what's happening in our world to how we treat ourselves. Um, there's the expression "Thy will be done," And do we really know what thy will be done is, right? God is saying thy will be done. Well, we're all God. I am God in female form, goddess. And so if we are doing God's will through us, thy will be done, then we have to take care of God first, right? And
Right.
if we're taking care of our creator first within ourselves, thy will be done in everything that we do.
Yes, yes, that's a great reminder, really, because that we don't realize how powerful. And I say this almost every single time I do these shows. At the very end, I try to remember to say, "Hey, we have an opportunity to play this game at a much higher level than we've been playing it." And with somebody like Gloria guiding you, and she's already put together all the tools, and you have to know it's going to be fun. This is not going to be a boring clinical kind of highly brain hurt process. It's going to be fun and light, and releasing contracts of that maybe your soul thought it needed to have the right outcome, to do the outcome of your soul mission, but you don't necessarily need them anymore. They're kind of in the way of you creating. So Gloria can help you release those with her one-on-one sessions. And can you put your book up one more time? So
Absolutely. I would love to
yeah,
do a session.
back up a little. Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
I would love to do a session with you, Kathy, and then come back on so everyone can see the.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
well, I could do a session with you too. I do a soul illumination process.
Yes, please. We're
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah, it'd be fun to do. Yeah, yeah, let's play because we're supposed to be playing here, guys. So anyway, so what's the best way for people to find you? I've been putting up your website. Is that the best way to find you?
My website, also my phone number. I don't communicate by text, like I don't have conversations by text, but you can definitely reach out by text and ask me when is a better time to speak. You can also reach me on Instagram or Facebook. I get messages there all the time.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and like I said, my website it's being worked on so that it will be super easy. Right now, it's not. It doesn't really tell you how to communicate with me, but we're working on that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, the opportunity right now, this is the beginning of the year. It's the perfect time when you looked at last year, and if there were things that really you felt blocked with, this is the perfect time to connect with Goddess Gloria and start your path to a very exciting adventure. Life is an adventure of co-creating with the universe at a really high level, and it's all just around the corner for you. So thank you, Goddess Gloria.
You're welcome. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah. So thank you, and everybody, please share this if you have friends that you think might really benefit from knowing about Goddess Gloria. Please share. Thank you. Bye bye. See you Friday.